My dear students, my dear learners, my dear well-wishers, thank you everybody from the core of my heart. Dear viewers, today an important topic of English grammar is going to be discussed by me at this time, and this is Narration Exceptional Rules Part 8. You know that there are some exceptional rules of narration changing from direct speech to indirect, and in that case we face many problems, and we have to solve the problems. Changing narration requires some more rules we have to know. So dear viewers, if you are feared or afraid of doing or changing any activity of narration, then it will be somewhat very difficult for you. You have to be motivated, you have to be very challenging, you have to be very heartedly, you have to be very full hearted, you have to be very optimistic in learning narration changing. Dear viewers, and in this perspective I am going to discuss about some specific rules and regulations of narration changing here. Dear students, please take a look at. Dear students, a very important rule that is we can use in the passage narration. If there is any simple word in your sentence in the passage narration, and that simple word gives the complete meaning of a sentence, you can change that simple word, the only word in the complete sense in the indirect speech, by using the auxiliary verb in the changed form, in the changing form. Please take a look at, you can understand. Direct speech, Hassan said, do you learn English? Do you learn English? I said, I said yes. I said yes. I said yes. So, dear students, you can see in this sentence, yes is the only word. Yes is the only word by which you can have the sense of a single sentence or a complete sentence. I said yes. Do you learn English? I said yes. That means I learn English. So how can we change it? While changing into indirect speech, we shouldn't be feared or afraid of doing the activity. Just change it in the simple way that you learn. Hassan answered. Hassan answered. Hassan answered or asked. Dear students, what will be? This is a question. You may fear, you may be afraid, but I like to tell you that you should not be afraid, because this is an interrogative sentence one, and in this case what will be the reporting verb in the indirect speech? The reporting verb will be asked generally. So Hassan asked. Hassan asked. Conjunction if I learn English, if I learn English. And while we are using indirect speech, we have to remember one thing, that we can join two or more sentences using some conjunctions or connecting words or phrases. I learned English. Hassan asked if I learned English, and I am using and here as an connector or conjunction to connect this sentence with this one. And I answered that I did. I did. So what is the rule? You can elaborate this short sentence like this way. You have to use a reporting verb according to the sense, because he has given an answer, and so answered is used here, and conjunction that, because that is an assertive sentence. I said yes, that is an assertive sentence, that I did. Why did I use did here, dear students? This is the question. Because I used did here because the first sentence or reported speech has been started with the auxiliary verb do. The auxiliary verb do. But this is a present indefinite tense, and we know that the present indefinite tense changes into the past indefinite, and in that case the auxiliary verb also, if I use the auxiliary verb to make the sense clear, I have to use the past form of the auxiliary verb. So that I did. This is the rule. If you write yes, I said yes, so the changed maybe in that in other way, and answered that I learned English, that will be very great or lengthy, and that shouldn't be used, because we have to use the first form of the auxiliary verb, and this is the rule. So dear viewers, and if it is negative, you can also use that in that way. Suppose Hassan said, what will you do? What will you do? He said, nothing. He said nothing. So what will be the change in direct speech like that of the rule that I discussed just before? Hassan answered, sorry, Hassan asked, what I would do, and I answered that I wouldn't do anything. Wouldn't do anything. So dear viewers, I think you can understand. We can change according to the sense. We can change the direct speech into the indirect speech according to the sense. We can change the direct speech in the indirect speech. In the direct speech, if we see just only one word giving the full sense, we can elaborate that one word in a complete sentence using some auxiliary verb, subject plus auxiliary verb, or the full sentence in some cases. Because in this case I have used the full sentence, I wouldn't do anything. This is applicable for nothing. But if this has been no, or anything else like this one, please try to understand. Suppose this is Hassan said, will you do, will you do? I like to somewhat change something. I like to write, Hassan said, what will you do? What will you do? Or you can write like this way. Hassan said, will you go there? Will you go there? I said, no. I said no. So this is the only word, that is no, and this no is giving the full sense. I said no. That means I will not go there. I will not go there. So I can write Hassan asked if I would go there, and in answer to his questions, I said that I wouldn't. So dear students, you can understand, while we are making the full sense in place of the single word, we have to remember that we can change it differently. But the core rule is that you can use subject plus auxiliary verb, according to the tense. This is the core rule. And other expression may be sensed according to the sense. Like this way you can see. And now I am going to tell you another rule, that is, when we are using yes or no in our sentences as a part, we have to use, instead of yes we can say answered in the affirmative, and so on, and something maybe answered in the negative, and something maybe like this way you can use. If yes or no is the part of a full sentence, in that case you have to use answered in the affirmative or answered in the negative. So he said, break space, you can write break space. He said, do you love me? Do you love me? Do you love me? She said, no, I love my friend. I love my friend. So you see, in this case, this no is the part of the sentence. No, I love my friend. In this case, no can't give the full sense. This is the part of the sentence, you see, my dear students. So in this case, we have to apply answered in the negative instead of in place of no. Please take a look at in direct speech. He asked if I loved if he asked if I he asked if she, in this case, the subject is she. The subject is she because you see the two person here, he and she. He and she. So this you mean she. This you mean she. He said, "Do you love me?" She said, "No, I love my friend." So the the discourse is going between two persons. That means he and she. So the conversation is going between he and she. So the speaker, first speaker is he, and the person spoken to is she. And in this case, you have to change like this way. He asked if she loved him, if she loved him, and in her in her answer, in her answer to the questions, in her answer to the question, she said, she said she I'd like to tell you the in her answer to the question, she said she didn't she didn't she didn't love him, but she loved her friend, her friend, her friend. In this way you can write. In this way you can write the intricate speech. Or if you don't like to write this answer like this sense in this way, you can also write according to the formula that I told you. Please take a look at. He asked if she loved him. We can sustain this part. He asked if she loved him. And please, now omit this and we can see the general rule. So what will be? He asked if she loved him, and she replied because this is very simple, because you see this no is the part of the sentence. Replied in the negative. Replied in the negative. This is the general rule. Negative. And told that she loved her friend. Her friend. So dear students, I think you can understand. So dear students, I think you can understand. We can use replied in the negative in place of no in the indirect speech. This is the general rule. And after that you have to use a conjunction and you can use the reporting verb according to the sense, and after that you can use conjunction according to the sentence. Their conjunction has been used here there because the answer may be in the assertive sentence. She loved her friend. And last of all, I like to show you the use of yes. So please dear students, for making you understand the fact, I like to use yes in place of this no. Yes. Just I am using yes here. Yes. He said, "Do you love me?" She said, "Yes, I love you. I love you. I love you." And in this case, the sentence will be sense, "I love you." So you can write. What you can write? You can write answered in the affirmative according to the common sense of changing narration. He said, "Do you love me?" He asked if she loved me, and she and she answered in the affirmative that she loved him. That she loved him. So, what is the rule? The general rule is that you have to change the no using answered in the negative and yes using answered in the affirmative, and after that you have to use a conjunction, and then you can use the reporting verb according to the sentence, and after that you can use you can see that you can use a conjunction according to the sentence, and you have to elaborate the sentence sometimes, or you may not, because if the sentence has been given as usual, you have nothing to do, you have just to make the indirect speech. So dear students, I think you can understand. So I have used answered in the affirmative, and I have used conjunction that you can see, because this is an assertive sentence. I love you. This is an assertive sentence, so I have used the conjunction that, and according to the changing rule of direct speech into indirect one, I have applied the sentence that she loved him. So this is not so difficult if you think it positively. So it depends on your positivity. It depends on your optimism. So you have to optimistic in learning. You have to be positive in full. So you can learn. Nothing can hamper on your way of learning English, because you have just one thing, positivity in your mind. Your mental power will be increased if you believe that you can do. So go on with your activities, and till then I wish you best of luck. Thank you everybody.